A pleasure to invite Manick now. Manick has been actively, I mean, he's, a soldier, feet on the ground, who's been implementing healthcare, who's been implementing telemedicine, and he's an entrepreneur who's been developing telemedicine solutions. So I want to hear from him as to, after the deliberations in the day, what do you think is our current reality? What are the challenges that we face? And what do you feel is the future for us?
Thank you, Dr. Uma. That was a good lead-in for me. If there ever was a human being that the world loved, anyone who knew him loved, it was the playback singer S.P. Balasubramaniam, who we lost earlier today to COVID. Along with him, we have lost 92,000 other Indian brethren. And to him, to them all, we owe our hard work and effort that we are all putting on the ground. So you asking us as to where we are is, here we are, the pandemic. And the pandemic is actually giving us a good, unfortunately to say a good, but it is showing us where we are. And I'm going to walk you through some simple abbreviations. There are three abbreviations that I'm going to talk about. The first one is NHP, National Health Policy, by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It has evolved from 1983. What we have is the third edition from 1983, 2002, and 2017. Now, this is the health policy that typically is promulgated by the government of the day, renewed every 5 years, and there could be distinct turn of policy every potentially 15 years. And it is dependent on the economic development of the current circumstances. And that is crucial to where we are. The National Health Policy today is actually working on all aspects of not just the pandemic, but also the welfare of the citizens, as well as the financial conditions that this country is in right now. And every one of these national health policies have a focus. And the focus on the 2017 NHP is on digital technology and development of the institutional framework. Now, digital technology is basically e-health, m-health, connected care that we talk about, the cloud, Internet of Things, and so on. Now, that being the case, this was firmly put into place well back in 2017. And it was probably fortuitous for us that we did it that early, because we also went ahead and planned for what we call the National Health Authority, which is not yet set up, but that agency is what will implement the policy. And we have already got into it quite early on. Ayushman Bharat, almost every one of us would have heard of it, is a key implementation. It covers about 50 crore people, 50 crore lives in the country. Now, that's a very ambitious project. And this happened even much before all of this pandemic situation, which means we already had built in certain aspects of healthcare by the time we landed up in this imbroglio that we had. So Ayushman Bharat is a key implementation, and the health blueprint, the National Digital Health Blueprint, NDHB, which was released in 2019, was key because it propagated that we needed the National Digital Health Mission, which was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister during his Independence Day speech this year. Now, this is a sum total of all the efforts of what the government is doing for us, setting up the infrastructure and the policy. And matching that, we also have what we call the Swasth Alliance, which is a group of private players, including venture capitalists, very successful entrepreneurs, the likes of Chris Gopalakrishnan and Nandan Nilekani, all of them coming together to come up with a national health stack, along with the iSpirit, the private entity iSpirit. But you can see that we are right now well poised to actually make a head for a comprehensive policy and its implementations. So where are we headed? simple numbers. With respect to telemedicine alone, the market will reach $5.5 billion by 2025. And this is according to an Ernst & Young IPA study. And it predicts a CAGR of 31% starting from this year, telemedicine. In fact, we almost saw that. We are seeing that. We are seeing both the patient side and the provider side and the facilities like hospitals all embracing this and getting us to a very quick adoption of the technology. 15 to 20% of total healthcare ecosystem will shift to virtual care. I'm not talking about remote surgery and all of that. I'm talking about pure play telemedicine, which will include teleconsult, telehealth, tele-education, and a whole bunch of other things. So triaging, consults, even remote monitoring has come into its own. Home health that we talked about a decade ago is actually coming in. We are having simple medical devices that some speakers earlier on had mentioned earlier too. So the current driver is the pandemic, teleconsultation and e-pharmacy at 95% of telemedicine market. And in fact, you would see that e-pharmacy will be about 10 to 12% of overall pharmaceutical market. Now this is a phenomenal adoption that we are seeing. And we are pushed to that because we do need it. This particular pandemic, which was completely unique, which we had never seen the likes of, is actually pushing us to this. And that's fine. That's fine. We are ready. We have the technology. But we do need stronger regulations. We need more carrot, just not the stick. We seem to be going with just sticks in our country. We need more carrots to be given to the adopters. Most importantly, health as a justiciable right. It's still not recognized as that, but the draft policy of NHP 2050 did mention that we do need to be able to get to that spot. And I'm sure Abhishek will have more to talk on that. And from a technology point of view, standardization of this entire ecosystem, NDHM is a National Digital Health Mission, is a complete ecosystem. That ecosystem needs to have an architecture. The technologies are all there, the standards are all there. We just need to go ahead and adopt them, embrace them, and get on with it. Thank you, Uma. Those are my opening remarks.
What are the challenges of telemedicine adoption in rural India?
We have some real challenges. We still have challenges of bandwidth. It's not that easy. We still have challenges of the appropriate equipment that needed to be available at the hospital level and at the patient level. People are able to learn very quickly. Most of us have seen a WhatsApp take off about 4 years ago, and it completely destroyed the SMS market. So people are in a position to take on, but then the companies that are out there need to actually invest more in technology that will bring the rural user to actually come to potentially a primary health center, or probably a more common area, and then start embracing the technology. We need to be able to push that, and to that is where the NDHM really should come in. And we already have PMJ, the Abhiman projects that are out there that are pushing that. We have covered more than 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh lives already. So I think we're getting there.
Yeah, I think the push in the rural market now with the advent of PMJ schemes and helping the man at the last mile is actually taking a far more space than it is in the urban areas, and the government is really pushing telemedicine in the rural areas. I think it's a very good move that's happening in India.
In fact, if I may add, Dr. Ma, we're currently working with some collectors in the districts, and the collectors are able to go ahead and use the connected device that we provide to be able to take it to the next level of care for COVID care, which will extend to other care like dialysis care and so on. So the country is ripe for adoption, and I think we are already there.